My name is Daniel Cabral. I am a tour guide here. I actually started as a cook, but then upgraded. And I've been here for about 6 years now. I actually started working here by accident. I spent the night here a little over 6 years ago and talked to the owner about what she, did for a living prior to this. She asked me what I did, told her I cooked professionally for years, said she was looking for a cook, and I started 2 weeks later. Sharing a huge piece of history that goes unnoticed a lot of the times. I do think she was misunderstood a little bit. A lot of people think she had mental disorders, which was never proven as a theory. And it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. A lot of people think that she was guilty of the murders. A lot of people don't. You gotta come for a tour to find out the real ins and outs. I think some people, when they come in thinking hands down she is guilty, pretty much leave with the same idea, but they have more questions than they came with. They portrayed her too aggressively. They did a really modern twist on it, which would have been neat if they stayed with it modern and not tried to do an 1800s spin with a modern background. It's a little strange. They really throw in the molestation, which I don't back up, neither does the house. It's just kind of a harsh allegation to make against someone who's deceased. So the fact that they went really hard on that was a little disheartening for me. So I think it was a conspiracy theory. I don't think that Lizzie killed her stepmother, but it was planned by her and her sister. I do think that Lizzie physically killed her father, but she was put in the wrong place at the wrong time, and it was kind of like, do you want to go to jail or do you want to go home? I feel like she did it all for the money, but it wasn't supposed to happen the way it actually happened that day. Yeah, sure. The house is definitely haunted. I've had my fair share of experiences here in the past 6 years. Recently, actually 2 weeks ago, I was stripping the beds down on the second floor. In the room right off the master that Sue was telling you about, that's Mr. Borden's office. I just stripped the bed down and I was tired from that day, so I just kind of like dove onto the bed, just like face planted, and from behind me I hear a woman laugh. Loud. So initially, I debunk everything. I never think it's paranormal right off the bat. So I ran to all the windows to see if I could see anybody, and there was no one outside. So it was clear as a bell. From a guest, there was this was probably about 2 years ago. There was a guy who came here, wanted to find ghosts, had a whole bunch of equipment with him, which was really cool. 9 times out of 10, those guys that aren't really the serious ghost hunters are the first ones out the door. But he was doing some investigating on 3rd floor, and he said he listened back to his audio and caught a growl. Was so scared he ended up sleeping in his car the rest of the night. Came back in for breakfast in the morning, but he slept in his car. He wouldn't stay in the house. Yeah, a couple things. She was a huge animal lover, and a lot of people say that, someone who committed a heinous crime like this probably would have had some type of, sociopathic tendencies prior, but she always loved animals, so that kind of goes 180 out on the fact that she killed her father, at least in my opinion. There were pigeons in the barn. There's a couple of stories behind that. I've never found out how the story originated from, but there are rumors that the neighborhood kids were breaking into the barn stealing the pigeons. So Mr. Borden, out of spite, went out there and killed them all. And how you do that is beheading them back then, which was very common practice. But basically his way of saying, let them steal my pigeons again and they'll see what they find. Which Lizzie was upset about because she loved the pigeons. That's the story anyway.